Understanding the costs of leasing an SBLC. In the world of international trade, financial transactions often require assurances to mitigate risk and build trust between parties involved. One common instrument used for this purpose is the Standby Letter of Credit, SBLC. SBLCs act as a guarantee from a financial institution that a buyer's payment will be received by the seller on time and for the correct amount. However, obtaining an SBLC can be costly, particularly when it comes to leasing one. What is an SBLC? Before delving into the costs associated with leasing an SBLC, it's essential to understand what it is and how it functions. An SBLC is a payment guarantee issued by a bank on behalf of a client. It is often used in international trade to ensure that a seller will receive payment for goods or services should the buyer fail to fulfill their contractual obligations. Essentially, the bank promises to pay the seller a specified amount if the buyer defaults. Leasing an SBLC. Understanding the costs. Leasing an SBLC involves paying fees to the issuing bank or a financial intermediary. These costs can vary significantly depending on various factors, including the amount of the SBLC, the issuing bank's policies, the duration of the lease, and the perceived risk associated with the transaction. Upfront fees. Typically, leasing an SBLC requires the lessee to pay an upfront fee, which is a percentage of the SBLC's face value. This fee can range from 1% to 10% or more, depending on the specific terms negotiated between the parties involved. The higher the perceived risk of the transaction, the higher the upfront fee is likely to be. Annual fees. In addition to the upfront fee, lessees are often required to pay annual fees for the duration of the lease. These fees are usually calculated as a percentage of the SBLC's face value and can range from 1% to 12% or more per annum. Again, the actual percentage depends on various factors, including the perceived risk and the policies of the issuing bank or financial intermediary. Other costs. There may be additional costs associated with leasing an SBLC, such as administrative fees, processing fees, and legal fees. These costs can vary depending on the complexity of the transaction and the services provided by the issuing bank or intermediary. Factors influencing costs. Several factors can influence the costs of leasing an SBLC. Creditworthiness. The creditworthiness of the lessee can affect the fees charged for leasing an SBLC. A financially stable and reputable company may be able to negotiate lower fees compared to a company with a poor credit history. Duration of lease. The longer the duration of the lease, the higher the total cost is likely to be. This is because annual fees are charged for each year that the SBLC is in effect. Amount of SBLC. The face value of the SBLC also plays a significant role in determining the costs. Generally, the higher the face value, the higher the fees charged by the issuing bank or intermediary. Conclusion. Leasing an SBLC can be a costly endeavor, but it provides valuable assurance in international trade transactions. Understanding the various costs involved and the factors that influence them is essential for businesses seeking to utilize this financial instrument effectively. By carefully evaluating the terms and negotiating with the issuing bank or intermediary, companies can minimize costs and mitigate risks associated with their international trade activities.